weirdly placed map, apparently drawn by some kind of dwarven explorer. Tehetakai, you followed olden ways, ways some even older than some mountains in the world, to arrive in the old world to give this information to the founders of this expedition. And you have sailed through the Great Pond to the land of Lustria. On the way there, you have found some enemies and some other dangers, including the great beast of Stromfels, the Great Wrecker, as well as some tax people from the infamous vampires, pirate vampires of the Vampire Coast. You have finally arrived at the destination that is supposed to be the founding place of the colony, following this old map, where you have found that the location that is drawn on the map is also a location that seems to be full of ripperdactyls. You see the orangey creatures circling the way. Although you are from basically the food ship, which is one of the last ships to follow the convoy, a lot of the food was either damaged or lost due to any amount of circumstances. And also, a lot of the supplies you guys brought were basically tools instead of like food itself. And so now you have arrived here, food is becoming more and more scarce. And of course, the olden things, the things that can last a long time, like ship biscuits and salted pork, are beginning to dwindle. And then you guys have begun fishing. You guys spent a lot of time fishing on a little island, couple kilometers away from the place. The ship is docked there. Everyone is in the small ship, and this is where we left off.
Okay, great. And just as some quick like highlights, Mr. GM, can you ping where we are on the map just for everyone's knowledge base? Okay, so we are up near the isthmus.
Yes.
All right, so we're up near the top there. We're hanging out by a little island at the moment. As far as like important members of the crew are concerned, I believe our only casualty so far was the Mennonite priest.
Initiate, even.
Yes.
Yeah.
The navigator, the appointed navigator, Litwin Schlamm.
Yeah, tried to save him, didn't work out. So unfortunate, but this is the way
Worst
it goes.
of both worlds.
Yes. We faced some demonic sword-wielding crabs. Not really, but that's what it felt like. And cool. I think that's pretty much everything. Nobody's had to spend a fate point so far, though there were a couple of close calls. And
Very shallow, yeah.
Yeah. And all right, I think we are all set to begin.
I still got to pick a short term.
As we begin the session, you guys have spent a night on this little island. You guys have fetched enough food for yourselves for a short term. Some campfires were set on this little island, and some grilled fish and things like that. The ship's cook is kind of like organizing a little bit of the preparations. We're beginning our session on the next morning as the sun rises, and it is one of those, like, the first time you see the sun truly rising on the isthmus of Lustria, which is this like beautiful, lush and gigantic jungle, kind of like with some mountains dotting the horizon beyond the jungle itself. It is not as much a normal like forest as it is a true wall of almost like a green flesh. It has a greenness to it that is almost unnatural, and a lot of the trees don't seem to have like the brown trunks of it. They seem to be just more leaves in the shape of a trunk. You see a lot of different colors and a lot of different flowers and fruits on this horizon. Although now, especially due to, I would probably guess that Tehetekai has told people about the Ripperdactyls. The little orange shapes that are kind of like circling the coast are a more pressing view. The coast itself, the place where the colony is supposed to be built itself, is difficult to see due to the distance. So you're not very aware of like the local landscape of it. But you know that is the situation you are right now as you rise from your slumber, and people start to make preparations for the next day. Does anyone have anything that they would like to do as the day starts?
I have.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Nope, you go first.
I
Okay,
insist.
my turn.
No.
I have a short term that I want to run by you real quick.
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
it's to find a pet lizard.
This feels like appropriation.
Yeah, I think that's cool. That's interesting.
I have. I have one as well, which is build the quote general store end quote.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Satisfactory, yes?
It is satisfactory, yes.
All right, good. My second question is both it's between two worlds. It's both in and out of character. Is there a calendar being kept that I can go, ask someone about? Because Egon isn't quite sure what day of the month it is, or even what month it is.
You would see that you would know that the first officer is the one that is keeping the dates, because it's easy to lose track of time on the sea and such. The first officer, who's also the quartermaster, he's the one responsible for that. You can talk to him.
Well, in order to just like move it along quickly, since it's a very trivial conversation, I ask him what is his answer, real quick.
Mm-hmm. Well, as he looks into his his notations, just let me look it up just so I don't have anything confused. Because of course they made up like a custom calendar.
Ooh.
It is the 15th of Jadrund.
Oh, damn. We're
Which is-
still early in the year.
Yeah. You guys left at the end of winter, which was the 10th of Nakten.
Nachheim.
Yeah. Which is basically January. Just so we have an understanding of the equivalents there. And now you are on the 15th of Yadrug.
Okay.
Nice. All right, good to know.
So Tehetekai would like to go for, can I try a navigation check? Because I believe where we left off, Tehetekai still is not sure where we are exactly on the continent.
It's Sotek's tail.
No,
is where you describe.
I know where we are. I don't think Tehetekai knows where we are.
We ended last session with a roll which you rolled a +6 on.
Oh, never mind.
Which was a navigation
My memory's
roll
just
that.
bad.
You are on the just also as a part of the recap, you are a couple of leagues away from the place where the colony is supposed to be built. It is. I'll actually open up a little map.
Oh shoot! Also, sorry. Real quick, while he's talking, party, we need to come up with a new short-term ambition.
I think we need to get some. We need to get some like plot hooks going before we can decide on that.
So just have that quirking in the back of your head.
Righto.
Sotek, I have shown you a little map.
Yes.
So you are on the. So if you look at if you open the image.
I'm looking at it.
The place where you are, it's a little bit beyond. It's between Swamptown, which is the location you know as
Uh-huh.
Swamptown, and the ruins of Dalmar.
Okay, and our goal is
But
to
a
get
couple leagues to the ocean.
okay, and our goal, our eventual endpoint is north of Pahawks, right?
Your let me see if I can do a little drawing. But yeah, it would be on the coast of it. Because I don't know if you remember that. I think we talked about this. The location of the settlement is going to be on the coast
Mm-hmm.
due to some changes.
Okay, so our goal is to get on that coast between those two and then go from there. Okay, that's all I needed. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you guys, as we were talking about like short term, the captain, Captain Vanda, she climbs a barrel as people are like organizing stuff.
Kick the barrel.
This is,
I'm joking.
trips and falls. She says, "All right, listen up, everyone. We do not know the location of the other ships of our expedition. We have not seen any news of them. And we also have our duties to perform in regards to the landing site and the place in which the colony is going to be built. Although it would be indeed easier for us to wait for the rest of the expedition, I do believe it would be wise for us to focus on building some living situation here. Our supplies, we do not know where they are, and therefore our supplies are limited. We have 2 duties then, but only 1 boat. And therefore, probably going to have to split up in regards to our duties. There is a lot of coast from north to south of here, in which the other ships may have been lost or may have found their way out of the fog in a different location than us. We do not know. And it seems that the coast is not clear, say, for us to establish our location here in a more permanent way. I am going to need a number of volunteers to stay here with a rowboat and try to clear a landing site for us, while the rest of us are going to be on the ship. We're going to be cruising northward to see if we can have any signs of a wreckage or if we can catch the remaining members of our expedition.
Tetekai, deal with Lutley.
You see the captain gives you a nod and says, "Very well, we have 1. And
I will join the lizard.
Captain also nods. We have 2.
I volunteer as tribute.
Very well, a grim language, but we have 3.
Berard's gonna look at the boat that has no food on it, and the jungle around him, which presumably has food. I volunteer to stay with the lizard, who seems to know what's going on and where things are.
You see that the captain, she also regards you, gives you a nod, says, "Very well, that's 4." And you see a couple of the other members of the crew are a little bit more hesitant. From the get-go, the only one that really steps forward is the first officer. The first officer kind of raises his hand, exchanges a look with you, Egon, and
I wink back at him.
gives a nod, and he says, "I'll stay as well." The captain is a little taken aback. She stops for a second, and then kind of like with an understanding, also also gives a nod and says, "Very well. That's 5. If anyone else wishes to stay, we'll be leaving in a couple of hours. You have until then to decide." And she jumps out of the barrel and heads towards you, Tatakai. She comes to you and says, "I have a smaller boat, a rowboat, on that is probably appropriate for you to get from here to the coast for whatever you need. I'm going to leave you with that and probably 5 days worth of supplies for all 5 of you, or if there are more volunteers, the equivalent of that. Anything else beyond that is going to be your responsibility to hunt and procure for yourself."
Tahatakai will just kind of bob his head in acknowledgement, though his tail is swishing around because he's very eager to set off sooner rather than later.
She kind of like regards all of you with a nod and says, "I would not..." She kind of like she actually lowers her voice a little and gets closer to all of you and says, "I would not count with the return of this ship in regards to any supplies. I do not know what awaits for me at the edges of the coast of this place, and therefore I cannot make any promises of our return. We're going to search the coast for as long as we need until we find any other boat, or at least the wreckage of it. So..."
Tatakai, start wattle. No worry.
Grim, silent nod.
She also gives a nod and says, "With Sigmar's blessing, I'll help you stay alive." And she turns around and leaves.
To the boat. Na-na-na-na.
You also see, by the way, as you're here, not everyone from the crew is as certain to where they would like to go. So if any of you would like to try and convince any members of the crew to join you in this expedition, it is your purview to try.
Tahatakai is going to approach Tahatakai is going to approach the party, notably Egon and Ashling, because he's had quite a few interactions with them, but also he does look in Berard's direction. And he says, not super quietly, but like the way he says it comes off intended mainly for the three.
Low hiss, then?
Yeah, he says, so he walks up and kind of conspiratorially for a moment looks around before saying, "Good to have many Jozankas. The Rippers, sometimes very hungry. Good to have spare."
Well, you're not half bad yourself, Twin Tail.
He will quirk his head at that.
I think he's asking that we should bring more bodies with us.
Yes.
Well, my buddy kind of already volunteered, so I'm not sure who else to ask.
Tahatakai will point at the distant orange dots of the Ripperdactyls and say, "Tlati, get hungry." Best have
poison what they eat.
Everything.
Guess that would make that hard then.
How easy is it to notice the orange wingspans in the distance?
Now that it is pointed to you, you like as you arrived, it looked like birds. Now that he pointed it to you, you can see just like different skeletal structure, and you can see many of them flying around. And now that it is pointed to you, it is very visible.
Hey, Twintail, how are we supposed to, hit them? We're not exactly dealing with a lot of well, earthbound creatures.
He will turn to you and let out a "Sss, best not fight. Too dangerous. Find other way. If fight,
Well,
Shazankas," and he'll point at you specifically, "die."
uh, good idea, Twintail. Let's not try and fight them. Looks on over to Aisling, trying to make sure that she is still blessed. She looks blessed. All right. So, Egon is gonna start over towards the rowboat. Is it being prepared to be lowered?
The rowboat has been lowered, and you see a lot of them. They're kind of waiting to see how many people are going with your expedition, just to kind of load it up with equipment and or not equipment, but at least supplies.
Teataka's gonna go ahead and clamber aboard.
Okay.
Right.
Tehataka, I have a
he's
question for you.
ready to go. He will turn and look at you, Aisling.
Can you swim?
Yes. Great.
Okay.
Swim.
Okay, good. If you fall in the water, can you catch me? If I fall into the water, can you catch me?
He pauses for a moment and says, "Tataka, not let drown." Yes.
Thank you. Cat's head.
Good to know. Egon looks on over to the out into the deep blue sea. Does a nervous gulp and slowly climbs down into the rowboat.
Gerard's gonna look around and see if he can spot Richard, the incompetent knot maker and random NPC deckhand.
What a title.
It's a name we all look forward to.
You do find Richard with his very long title. He is one of the guys that's kind of like on the kind of like basically tying down everything and just putting everything aside to be put in the ship later.
Richard,
Oh,
you know how
yeah.
you said if things got bad and you had to be one sailing instead of just tying knots, we're doomed. And how much you were looking forward to the giant sharks, zombie giant sharks, and pirate giant zombie sharks. I happen to notice there are no sharks on that land over there. And things look like they're getting bad, and you may be needed to actually do something more than tie knots. And just between us, I've been catching most of the food, and I'm not going to be on the boat. You sure you don't want to come with us?
He's kind of like he doesn't stop tying knots. He's basically like wrapping the ropes on his arm and then tying them down and kind of like putting them to the side. And he comes closer to you. He says, "All right, let's be very clear. Just because you can see sharks doesn't mean there's no sharks. Okay, could still be very big sharks. But I mean, do you need someone to tie knots with your crew? I think Not sure how useful I can be to you.
Well, another pair of hands, and if we're going to be making tents or anything, knots will be needed.
If you wouldn't mind,
Do we have gear to set up tents?
to whatever any of you have on your characters.
Oh, geez. It's not a lot.
Because like the main supplies for a lot of like the building efforts were not on this ship. So there's some improvised materials like extra sails and things and like ropes. Of course, there's a lot of rope. But you know, the raw material for like building and construction and things like that, and tents are not with you. They're mainly with the other ships.
Well, I can tell you then, Richard, there's going to be a lot of knot tying. Because any structure we make is going to be lashed together, and that's going to be knots.
If you wouldn't mind, you can
Not
make
the
me
brave.
either, I'm gonna say charm or leadership. I'm gonna make it easy. You did mention knots. He does like tying knots. That is a weakness of him.
We're off to a great
We
start.
start as we mean to go on.
Do you wanna keep the roll or do you wanna fortune reroll?
I'll keep the roll, and as I try to instill the leadership of the very young into someone who is probably older than me. Well, what if you could get some of that spare sail and maybe add some extra rope for us? If you can't think yourself as could go.
I can set aside some things for you, yeah. Just don't feel very, things haven't been going very well for us, but things have been going well enough that we have a ship and maybe the 4 other ships are no more, so I think honestly the Silverfowl is up to a great start, but I can give you some supplies. I was going to check with the quartermaster, but the quartermaster left the ship in a very demoralizing move. So just gonna put some stuff on the boat for you, just as a token of goodwill.
Well, that's great, Richard. Thank you very much. I'll make sure that there's something with a roof, or at least a tree above it for you when you get back.
That's very kind of you. I hope you don't get eaten by a shark or an equally dangerous creature on the very weird jungle that we're at.
Well, thank you kindly. Bless your heart.
I hope that Manans keeps you safe and dry. And
I don't think
Signar
that's what he
too.
does, Richard.
I don't think so too, but I couldn't really think of anything else. Because they're
He gets
not
you
going
nice
to the
and
sea
wet.
or going to the jungle. There's no god of jungle, but there's tall, I think.
There's always tall.
There's always tall.
Tehetekai is eagerly standing in the rowboat, being unhelpful but very ready to go.
Yeah, he fully looks into the horizon for a solid 5 seconds, and then he starts grabbing some stuff.
Gerard
you
will
haven't-
clamber down into the boat.
Come,
Yeah,
Warbloods, come!
You have enough material for like a very improvised tent for all 5 of you.
On a side note, can I actually get rope?
Yeah, you can.
Alright. Now, how do I add
Rope
rope to
is the one object that is in excess.
Gerard would love
So-
all the rope.
In such excess that they're just giving it away?
They can supply you with like, let me give an arbitrary number. They can
I
supply
got-
you with like 10 meters worth of rope.
So
That
just
is-
God, man, put it in American.
Nah.
Wait, that is an American. Americans know yards and meters.
But what part of
Nah.
America are you talking about?
That
New
that
York.
would be
Oh,
would be
sorry, I'm
around-
from the smart part of America, New York.
That would be around 30 feet of rope. 30 feet or 10 meters, whichever you prefer.
All
It's
right. In
just
that
about 10
case,
meters.
I'm gonna grab some rope for my intimate trapping. So, 10 yards worth of rope, which is
Oh,
almost
can I get
10 meters.
I'm just gonna walk into the kitchen really quickly. Can I just grab like 2 or 3 wooden bowls?
Yeah, of course. The you kind of like look at the cook. The cook gives you some bowls. That's not a problem.
I look at them, take the 3 bowls, and just go, I'm not giving these back, thank you, and walk away.
Lady, and then you like walk off.
And can I grab a metal cup?
A metal cup.
Like
yeah,
a pint?
sure.
Yeah, essentially.
Like a pint's worth of a metal cup. Okay, cool.
I'm just gonna
Metal
put in
cups are-
metal pint.
Yeah, metal cups are like a little harder to find because metal is not very good at the sea. But you are able to find one just to make it easier.
I love my corroded cup.
The rust
yeah.
adds flavorings.
It has a couple of places that have been kind of like sanded down to get a little bit of the rust off, but it is a working.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It is a cup.
Anyone else would like to do any preparations before the
Oh, and is there any flour, like flour powder on the boat?
You mean like bread making powder?
Yes,
She said flour powder. That's clearly what she meant.
I know. I am smart. I come from the smart part of America.
shot and chaser. Yeah, you can. They supply you with some flour.
Yeah, they're giving us some rations, right?
Yeah, they're giving you.
I'm just
kinda
raiding the kitchen.
You are raiding the kitchen. Yeah, you're like fully 4 a.m. in the kitchen having like a late night snack. You have like 3 bowls, a cup of flour, and some stuff, and you're like
How do
kind of
I
like
add-
juggling it away.
How do I add a custom item to this?
So in your trappings, underneath each section, there's on the right side there's quantity, encumbrance, and then a plus sign. If you click the plus, it'll add a unnamed item to that category, and you can edit that item to be what it is.
Oh,
If
okay.
it's a trapping that exists in the core rulebook, there's in the compendium packs. You can go to items and trappings, and you should be able to open that up. Maybe, I don't know, as a player.
Yeah.
Actually, there's just the suitcase that has the items where you can go and
Oh, the suitcase
Type-
has the
type
items
in.
too.
yes.
Yeah, but the flour doesn't exist in this game.
No, sadly.
I think you can put it under food. You can create item, which is a plus sign on the food and drink, and then just put in like a kilogram.
Yeah,
kilogram
I
of
would just do
flour.
that.
Well, this is a little bit different.
A kilogram
flour.
is 2.2 pounds
But I will
of
edit
flour for the
That's-
Americans in the audience.
Hey, I like this metric thing where I get an extra pound, because I swear if it was American, you would have gone like, you have a pound of flour.
Yeah. Look, everything here is kilogram. I'm not gonna. pander
It
to the
should be
pound
here
audience.
too, but
I'm not gonna.
But
it's
pander
not
to the-
our fault. It's the Brits' fault. They started it.
Yeah,
I don't know. They use kilograms too.
Yeah, but they also use our stupid system too. They use
out
both
to
because
the-
they're even dumber.
Yeah.
The good old
As a-
American tradition of insulting the British.
Yeah.
As a Brazilian, reading the book is very confusing at times because of that.
Yeah,
But-
just a
Oh, yes.
reminder, this is a British game.
Yes.
Written in American units, British units, but
It's a British game written by Irish people and published all over the world.
yeah, so it's not our fault. They literally started it. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
If in doubt, blame Canada.
Yeah. So
All right. I think
south from the kilogram of powder.
bread making powder.
Nope, I just put flour powder.
Aw. All right. I have pretty much everything that I would want.
Oh, and I need a fork, knife, and spoon.
Good God,
let me-
woman.
That can also be provided. Yes. I am. Scared.
This is pretty much Alexis in a nutshell in every game she plays.
It's the new
She-
world. Just eat with your hands.
No,
No,
like that.
I am.
like that.
I am very, very, very particular about all of these things.
Babe, if you go to the item thingy, like the suitcase,
Yeah.
right next to your character, type in cutlery. They have it.
Yeah, again, it's not just her. The people who made the game did put cutlery in the item.
Yeah,
So
which I am okay with.
Hey, it's important in role playing.
Look,
Yeah,
the only-
exactly.
It is specifically
only-
for people like me.
Okay,
Yeah,
is there
my only-
is there anything
my
else
only
you want to
concern-
rob from the kitchen?
No, this is also very important. Are there any nails and a hammer?
Oh, she's still going.
Yeah,
no.
I'm
This,
getting-
keep,
my concern is something that I think I cannot speak on Twitch. But yeah, you can find some for sure.
You could speak
Okay.
just about
Make-
anything on Twitch as long as it's not a slur.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the non-making
Boo.
improvised explosives.
No, I will not be making explosives.
Okay.
I can
just to be
actually
sure.
tell you what all of these things are going to be for.
Damn, now I want to make Warhammer MacGyver.
Okay,
Hmm.
and the next item I'm looking for is a pick.
A pick is going
Now-
to be a little bit harder to.
Mining
A
pick
hammer.
or toothpick?
Not a hammer. It would be a mining. If not that, a hatchet, just a hand axe, not a weapon, just the tool.
The tool.
And it will only ever be the tool and not a weapon.
Okay. Yep. For sure.
I don't think the GM is too bothered by how you would like to use said hatchet.
No, but I'm making it clear for both myself and the audience.
I'm pretty sure she is future-proofing herself against her goddess's ire.
Yeah.
Yes.
For all intents and purposes, this axe would be like an improvised weapon. Like, it could be used technically as a weapon, but
If
For-
you get
for
enough
the
sin
sake of
points, you could
rules.
always just change career.
Look,
yeah.
if you're John Wick, if you're John Wick, everything becomes a weapon.
Please, nobody asks about pencils.
Wait,
Hey.
is just an axe not in here? There's great axe.
It would
axe-
technically
axe-
fall under hand weapon.
Axe is technically an up in arms. But I don't. Is up in arms activated in this?
Here, I'll put in a hand weapon.
Up in arms got added to Foundry. I don't know if we have it up and running yet.
It is on the suitcase. There's a little folder. I don't know. It's hard to see if something is enabled for you guys. There's a folder called modules,
Oh well, we won't be able to see any of that.
and in it there's a folder called items. Okay, you're not.
Yeah.
Oh,
we don't-
What's
we don't
something
see
that only exists in Up in Arms?
Axes. There's also scimitar. Is also another thing. So
This is becoming Ark Survival Evolved
Check.
really fast.
Okay, no,
right?
I do not believe we the players have access to Up in Arms yet.
Check. See if you.
Oh
Can,
no, now I
if
see
you
it.
can-
I see it. Yeah, now it appears. Yeah,
yeah, there it is.
cool. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Okay.
It's because
what else
as
do
a
I need?
GM, it's kind of hard. As a GM on Foundry, it's kind of hard to see what you can see and what you cannot. There's a
Alright.
place for that, but it's not very good.
Okay, so
Thanks, sir.
just to speed this along, I'm just gonna say that I grab a few more items, and I'll just write them to you. Okay?
All right. I'll say like the only thing that I'm gonna say is like everything that is like a gold piece or above. I'm gonna say you're gonna need to roll for it.
Okay,
It's
so
gonna be
nothing I've
someone's
taken is
personal
worth anything.
Yeah, like everything up until now is fine. The only thing that I was like a pickaxe because you guys are on the food one, and there is a chip for mining purposes. So Like, I don't think it would be. It would be hard to find a pickaxe on the ship supply. That was the only.
Okay,
the
now
only
how
thing I
does
would thought.
Shalia feel about a giant gun?
No.
We can have a talk about that.
It says
It's for
walk with
peacemaking.
a
It's for
stick.
peacemaking. All right.
I'm preventing future wounds.
Look.
So
you
what
can
you're saying
Shut-
is if I roll well enough, I can purloin one of our cannons onto the boat?
on the gods, like on the god side of Warhammer, we have a saying that is fuck around and find out, which is
It's very true.
I don't know. You want to shoot? Do you want to shoot somebody with a gun? Let's see
Anyone
how many
else?
spin points that is.
Anyone else have anything they want to do?
On
I,
the boat, can I find a backpack?
Yes.
All right, I am definitely taking a backpack.
Well, now I have someone to take things away from.
Ah, yes.
Oh, I
the
will
ever
be-
elusive
I-
jungle pickpockets.
Tempt me. Okay. Anyone else?
I'm
Anything
good.
else?
I'm good.
Now that I'm aware there's an axe and up in arms, do I change the hand weapon hand axe that I have to be an actual axe?
You can do it if you want to.
I imagine we just trade weapons. I find an axe and I'm just like, here you go.
Yep, basically. All right. So the main ship, the Silverfell, kind of like prepares to go. They leave with you. So if anyone wants to keep a note of it, you guys have, each of you have 5 days worth of essentially like field rations. It's like ship's biscuits, salted pork, some leftover fish that has been dried over the night. Not like easy ration or like tasteful, but tasty, but like usable. And they leave you with some of the supplies just so you guys have a chance of surviving this.
I've written down the date when we'll run out of food. So
Cool.
I'll keep track of that.
That's gonna be the beginning of the day.
I'm also still cursed by crabs, apparently.
You are still cursed by crabs.
Well,
That is an important plot point.
yes, the Leviathan will come for me.
It will. And you won't see it coming.
Nope. All right.
So you
Moving
guys are left with the rowboat. The coast is essentially, there are a couple of like plateaus, which is basically like a rocky face where the waves crash. But a lot of the land around here is mostly sand. So there's like a sandy beach on the horizon where you guys can where you guys can kind of like dock the rowboat. When we docking, you know, when you put the ship like fully on the sand. I forgot
Yeah,
the name of it.
you roll up on shore.
Beaching.
Beach.
Yeah,
beach.
you beach the ship.
I don't want to say the word because my accent makes it sound like the other word.
Yeah, you could say bitch here. It's okay. It's an adult audience. You can curse.
Yeah,
There's a lot of sand area where you guys can like beach your the rowboat with no problem. You see that as the day kind of like begins to take effect, you do see the Ripperdactyls kind of like circling around the region. But one thing that I'll give you this information. There's no perception check needed. The other areas around don't seem to be afflicted by these like flying Ripperdactyls. They seem to be concentrated on this little piece of land that is drawn as the colony place.
Great. Teatakai's gonna kind of quirk his head at it, and turn to the others and say, "Something draw, Trazantli."
Something spooked them, you mean?
No, something. Bring them here.
I
Ugh.
assume
you
that
are
would be means.
They should not be so close to World Pond.
Could something be... Could something have driven them away to the beach?
He'll kind of quirk his head a little bit and say, few things scare them. They eat all, more likely drawn.
I don't like that one bit. But maybe we'll be able to spot what's bothering them if we can, well, get slightly closer.
Yes, approach, close, quiet.
What? It is a rowing boat. Do any of you have? I don't remember the basic skill. Do any of you have row?
I don't have any advances in it, no.
It is
so
a basic skill.
It is. A
I
basic
know. The question then becomes: is anyone better than a 32 at it? Because that's all I got.
Nope.
Oh, jeez.
I'll check in a moment.
Tehatakai is better than you at it.
I have
Slightly.
a 24.
I have a
Oh,
30.
geez.
I have a 35.
Berard's just a flat 30.
We are not strong people.
We are not strong.
So, presuming Tehatakai wants to make the row, you can make it. You can make an average row test just to see how well you navigate to the beach itself.
Okay.
Can we do it two at a time? But I can't assist since I don't have any advances in it.
Yeah, I don't think any of you would be able to give much assistance on this.
I fail.
Um,
1 degree
it's a
though.
rocky. It's a rocky journey. You get there. You don't like fully beach you don't fully destroy the rowboat in the first seconds. You are able to navigate. It's a little hard. This is a part of the coast that is a little bit harder to navigate due to some coral formations and some rock formations underneath the water. So a lot of it is very confusing to navigate. But you power through. So as you start getting closer, do any of you want to do anything? Any checks? Any questions?
Tehatakai, can I attempt maybe some kind of perception check to just try and ensure that we are not drawing the Ripperdactyl's attention? I want to keep a lookout to make sure they don't start angling towards us, because Tehatakai knows that stuff's going to hit the fan real quick if they do.
I am going to be disconsidering the necessity of a perception because of sixth sense.
Okay.
You have a good you have a good instinct for when something is targeting you as a prey, so you don't get a sense that they are noticing you, but you are still far away from them at this point. You do think that if you get closer, being just like naked under the sun, you probably are going to get noticed.
Yeah, no, I just Tehatakai, as far as like guiding the boat, just wants to get us on the beach without problem.
Berard will grab an oar, and whenever he sees we're about to crash into something, will try to push us away from it a little bit.
Make an athletics test, Berard.
Average or difficult?
It's gonna be average because we're not at combat in the moment, so it's gonna.
Hey,
Nicely done.
we did.
Yep,
we did it.
You help Tehatakai a little in the way that you can. It's hard because of the waves and such. Like hitting the rocks in the right way to push you away from them is a difficult process, and you start getting wet from the effort because a lot of times when you push away from the rock, a lot of water from the sea gets in your clothes and such. And quickly as you get doing that, you start getting drenched in seawater. How close do you guys want to beach from the colony site?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although, can we was the site pointed out to us? Do we know roughly where it's supposed to be?
Tehetakai has a he knows where it is.
Ah, okay. He knows where it is.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And you
Is
guys,
there? Oh, go ahead.
and as he points out, you do see that there's a little plateau on the beach. So it is not a place that has sand. It's just like a rock face. And then on this like upward place, you see the Ripperdactyls sometimes getting very close to the ground and then picking something up and flying away. And as he points out that there's a bunch of creatures there, you have a good understanding of like, oh, that's where the colony site is.
Hmm. Just for the sake of just for the sake of trying to be useful, although Berard is probably better at this, can I attempt to spot a good hiding place where we can set up our very temporary camp?
Yeah, roll me a outdoor survival.
Alright.
I'm gonna say, because you clarified like what you want, I'm gonna say average.
Alright. So yeah. Hey, look at that. Clean success.
I am going to say a statement about your character, and you can modify it however you want, as it is a presumption of me as a GM, not an imposition.
That's fine, I'll modify it.
You have some experience setting up camps while being like hunted down, or like being in dangerous situations. Not exactly hunted down, but like people looking for you. And
Staying low. Lying
staying
low, probably.
So you have a good understanding of where you should set up a camp, that someone that is looking for you might miss you. Just like the way the shadows move there, the way there's a little rock on the side that might block vision for someone. Those little details that someone who has a life of not very legitimate business may notice as like a good place to stay low and high.
Ah, in that case, I do notice just off the beach, right before the jungle foliage starts, I notice a cleft in a rock, which looks to be just spacious enough to fit most of us. And in that case, we might be able to, save the makeshift tent for something else, just in case. So Egon is going to point in the direction of the cleft he noticed and say, "Hey, over there! I think I found a good hiding spot for us." And he points everyone in that direction.
Berard's gonna look up and ask GM, how far from the location do the Ripperdactyls circle? Like, are they all just staying within, 10 meters of the main site, or are they flying around any distance from it, above us at 200 yards?
Actually, a very interesting question. If you wouldn't mind, make a outdoor survival for me. Make it easy.
All right.
Kinda easy.
Would lore beasts also apply? But outdoor survival in easy with assistance is another 10.
I think lore beasts would be for more like creatures you have a good understanding of. This is a
Well-
very alien creature for you.
It is, though I did spend several hours talking about them with Tehetakai.
Yeah, for sure.
Holy
For
crap.
sure. Yeah. As you're looking, There are great creatures, great flying creatures in the old world. Um, like very large eagles, and finding where they nest and finding where they hunt is a very useful skill for a hunter. Because sometimes you can find a place where, if they are hunting, maybe you should hunt as well. And if they are avoiding, you should also avoid as well. There's a lot of information. That's a +7, so I'm going to give you a good rundown on this. This is not a nesting place. This is a hunting ground. So as you're looking, you're starting to get that the Ripperdactyls frequently go, they come from inland, circle around, do some like passing, like some flybys close to the ground, grab something from the earth, and then after a while they fly inland back from where they came. So the radius in which they're hunting is very limited. They're not flying around too much. They are flying in this very specific location, almost like an arrow, to then back to the inland where you suppose wherever their nesting ground is located. So the radius in which they're hunting is very small. It is just that plateau. They don't seem to be looking for anything beyond that.
That's interesting. They're only going to that bit there and flying off. I wonder what it is they're getting.
Probably circling for something to eat.
Tatakai wants to go look. Tatakai see. I would like to try and stealthily approach to see what the hell they're picking at.
Fair thing to entail.
Please be careful.
He'll be fine. He lives here.
Don't suppose
Need to get set up.
Don't suppose there's any jungle close to it, or is it just kind of like out exposed rock?
You can try going through the jungle and then popping out at the close to the location, or you can try going by water or or by the beach. That is your decision. You could go either way.
Right near the beach.
I think I will take the jungle route because then I'll get my arboreal bonus.
For sure. Roll away. I am going to say though, the base of the road is going to be challenging.
Okay. So challenging base. Let's see. Do I get my stealth rural on this?
Yeah.
The creature trait, you mean?
No, I'm rolling my stealth rural.
Right. Yeah. You're right.
Now the stealth rule does apply. Yes.
Oh, okay. It would have been way higher than that, but that's plenty of successes.
Hetakai just vanishes. Hetakai, like, when there's like a movie where there's like a car passes by and then the person disappears.
Yeah,
that's kind of the look as the Hetakai just like goes into, like, passes through a tree branch and just vanishes.
Gerard rubs his eyes, stares at the space Hetakai was, and goes, "Oh, Toll's teeth. That's a trick. You don't think they can all do that, do you?" As he
More
looks
than
at the
likely.
Ripperdactyls.
I have a sneaking suspicion they might.
Okay, I want to make my way over there and see if I can determine what it is they are trying to get at.
Mm-hmm. For the remaining members of the crew, the three of you, I would like a perception check and a description of what you're doing as you're waiting for Tentakai to come
Oh boy.
It is going to be a challenging.
Here we go. Hey, look at that. I'll go first. So Egon is currently taking that extra sail that we got and sort of laying it out so that none of the sand that's from the beach
Beach.
gets into any of our supplies, so that he can set up sort of a makeshift inventory to keep track of all of our stuff. Since we don't need it to for a tent, since I found this sweet rock cleft.
As you're doing that, the previous first officer also does help you with that. He's kind of like keeping close to you.
Ah, nice.
Berard's at the edge of the camp, seeing if he can see any source of fresh water in the jungle from the distance. Or any kind of river or creek coming out to the ocean.
And Ashley?
I am apparently not able to breathe, but I am waiting on the boat.
Okay. Fully with it. Cool. Egon, as you are on the beach, kind of like on this little space you found, you notice something that kind of like catches your attention. Some of you do step on the sand sometimes, so there's a couple of like signs of life. Especially Berard, as Berard kind of goes a little bit beyond.
Oh no!
The campsite.
The crabs have come.
After a couple of seconds, as you're kind of like taking care of stuff, you look back, and the sand changed. There's no footmarks, and you see a couple of like a little like conches or like little debris that is in the beaches and such.
Yeah, like shell fragments and junk.
Yeah.
I heard smell fragments.
They change locations.
Slowly draws machete.
Do I see him drawing the machete from the boat?
Does she?
I mean, I'm standing semi in the open, since I'm just like hauling stuff from the rowboat and into the makeshift camp.
So unless Egon is making it like purposely difficult to see, I would say that it's visible.
Yeah, no, I am not making it. Like, I am not attempting to hide at any point.
Yeah, then yeah. Well, you can see.
Egon. Oh wait, what is my character name?
You remember him as Manfred.
Manfred, is there a problem?
Something just moved. Right there. Points at the exact spot where he saw it, with the machete held out.
Can I roll a perception for this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Is it just challenging?
Challenging person.
Alright, check it. It's gonna be amazing.
Obi.
That's amazing, all right. You're
It's
not
an amazing failure.
sadly you are not the Babe Ruth in this situation. No cold shots.
Do you want to reroll that, or?
I mean, I'm just looking, so I doubt anything really bad could happen.
Nah, you earned that. You earned that.
You, as you look, you do see something, actually. You see a very shiny fragment of something. It is kind of like it catches a little bit of the light of the sun as it waves by. embedded in the sand, there's a little, almost like a sharp fragment of something. It's white in color. Um, Difficult to see. You're kind of far away, but it's a little fragment that catches your eye as like a shiny thing in the middle of the sand.
Ooh,
It
shiny.
is a couple of meters into the beach, in the direction of the jungle. Uh, More or less where he points at.
Looks like a shiny rock.
What even the rocks move here? Brad will turn around having heard the conversation.
Everything seems to move in this damn place. Egon is going to approach very slowly. Just crunch, crunch, crunch
And
in the sand.
as you are approaching, we jump to the thick of the jungle. As it doesn't take too far, it takes a couple of steps from being like beach into thick and dark and moist jungle.
Moist.
Which you can feel. You can feel Tahatakai as this like very familiar and way more comfortable feeling. Um, you, as this is happening, you're already gone. You're meters, a couple of dozen meters into the jungle, weaving your way through, um, almost without
Undergrowth?
like, almost without through this like very in this like very lizardy way. You're not making a path. You are walking through the jungle as if it were a more like sideways path. You kind of like catching on the side of one tree into the other, going past a shrub, and it is this uh, instinctual feeling that makes it very easy to navigate through this, almost without leaving any path or sign that you went through here to Hetakai. You were just like cruising through. You don't notice anything out of the usual like jungle features in this location. Everything is very green and brown, and there's a couple of like shining rays of sunlight that are making their way through through kind of this like roof that is made of very giant leaves that are fighting for dominance on the top of the kind of like a dozen meters away from you. You start making your way through the jungle, and you start getting closer to the location. You have a good sense of direction, and you start hearing them. You start hearing this like screech of the ripperdactyls as you start getting close, and up to a point, because you did roll very well. You get on the base of a tree that has a couple of ripperdactyls mounted on top of, but they have no idea that you're there. You are completely, like, you have a complete feeling that you are safe in this place despite the proximity with each creature. And you can see very well this like little plateau in which which is the colony site.
Okay. Am I able to make out from here what seems to have drawn them all to this location?
Give me a perception check.
Okie dokie. Is it just going to be challenging? Average. Cool.
You got really close. So.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
-3.
You, as you're making your way there, it's very difficult to make out any detail. The only thing you do notice is that it seems to be a very solid place, and you see on the middle of this plateau there seems to be a hole, almost like a natural cavern that seems to be going downwards.
Weird. And that's what they're like swooping down at?
They seem to be swooping close to it.
Huh. Okay. And the jungle does not extend to it, right? It ends and there's like a large, because the site itself is kind of like a large rock plateau that that edges up to the ocean itself.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a couple of meters between the place where you are. So there's about 50 meters of open land between the jungle and this like hole.
All right.
And the hole is like on the middle of this little plateau, by the way.
Could I
Dead
attempt
center.
to climb one of the trees around me to see if I could get a better angle to get a better look at what might, if it's like a full-on tunnel or if it's just more of a pit that there's something in?
To you as a skink, easy. Not even a check required. You start climbing this little in the great scheme of things of Lustrian jungle, this little tree, which is a couple of dozen meters high, and you get to a point where you can see inwards. You can't see much because not a lot of light is shining inside the hole. But what you do notice is that it seems to be a natural tunnel that was expanded.
Ooh, okay, that's not good.
So
All right.
it's something that was like a small hole that was expanded over time. Difficult to say from this distance, like what did it, but you can
That
see that
is
there's
what
like
she said.
unnatural. There's a bunch of unnatural markings on the side that doesn't seem to be sign of like erosion.
Okay, so something either dug into or out of it. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. I am going to make my way back to the party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no check required. You twist around and you get there. As you're going back, I'll let you know when you return.
Sounds good.
Egon, you start making your way to the sand
Downtown.
itself.
All right.
The sand doesn't seem to react or anything react. Nothing really moves. But what you do notice, I'll use the same check for perception here, is there's a little tremor from time to time.
Can I pick up a rock and throw it in the general direction, or a shell?
Yeah, easy.
Oh, jeez.
You grab a little piece of rock, and you kind of like a little piece that fell off of the rock formation you're currently camping, and you just like chuck it in the direction of the beach, and it falls into the sand, kind of like a tunk. And as you're paying attention to it, all three of you can see this, by the way. Over time, there's a little tremor, and the rock starts going deeper into the sand.
Right.
Sometimes it like shifts position a little to the side, but then
Okay.
it goes down. But it never fully succumbs. At the
I
end
am
of it,
go-
like a minute, it stays like you can see a little bit of the rock, but most of it is on the ground.
I am going to time the next time the tremor happens with a lunge and to bury my machete into the sand.
You fully as like one of those tremors happen, you lunge and like dig your machete. Nothing seems to happen. It does, and as it is inside the sand, you do feel the tremor kind of like going through your body. It's around 5 to 6 seconds in between.
All right, pull it out. Pull out the machete. Clean off any dirt and debris off it to make sure nothing bad happens to it. I call on over to Ashling and say, "Did we bring a shovel, perchance?"
Let me check my bag. As you start digging through. I have an axe.
It'll do.
I
With a sort of like come hither motion. Bring it here.
walks with stick, just keeps stabbing the ground, walks over with axe.
All
Here.
right. All right. So
This
I
coastline, does it also seem lacking in, say, rocks and things on its surface? Or is it just near us?
On the contrary, do you mean the place where you are, or the colony site?
The place where I am, because I have a very far distance to the colony site.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the stuff not just around us, but further on. If
Yeah.
the rocks have all seemed to fall in there as well.
You can give me a perception check if you want to. See if you notice anything different. I'll give you information.
Average or challenging?
It's gonna be average. You have a good line of sight. Yeah, as you're looking, it seems to be kind of normal beach. It's very different from where you come from. Kind of like the beaches on the north of the empire have more of a kind of like a darker shade, and there's a lot of like large rocks and some kind of like a lot of like bones or rests of wood, or even some algae or like kelp that kind of like come from the sea and kind of like just rest there. A lot of like small crabs that fester and eat around there. This beach is very different from that. It doesn't have those like big marks or big figures. It doesn't have the lush life. It seems to be very barren. It's like a very soft and kind of like white sand. But you do notice that it is dotted by small objects, which you start seeing. And as you can kind of see close to you, there's a little bit of like small rocks, small shells. As I said before, small debris that is kind of like creeping inside of the sand itself. I would say though you don't notice anything peculiar. It is very different from where you come from, but nothing that kind of like strikes you as odd from your point of view. Egon, you wanted to dig?
So I turn. Excuse me, I have snacks. So I just turn the axe around and sort of use like the axe head near the haft as best as I can to just like very slowly start diggy hole, though I am not a dwarf.
It's a very difficult process because of this is also like something you start noticing. As I said, the sand here is very different. It is not like hardened sand. It is a very, very soft and like almost like sharp sand. So as you start making a hole, it doesn't take long for it doesn't have like a structural integrity to it. The edges start collapsing very quickly. After digging for a while, though, you do see a couple of like bigger pieces of rock and shell and some that seem to be even like some shiny rocks, like kind of like a light blue, a light pink, some like smaller green. It doesn't seem to be like a gem, like an emerald or a ruby or anything like that. Just a small polished rock that is embedded in this like underneath. You don't see anything out of the ordinary though.
Is that shiny rock like stuck in the in something, or is it just loose?
It seems to be loose. Like it's a little bit heavier, so over time it began to sink under the beach.
All right, I'm gonna try and like lift this thing out of the hole.
You grab it, and It's a little bit hard. Give me a, let's say, an athletics test. It's gonna be challenging.
Wait, I thought athletics used agility.
Oh, it does.
Can I?
My apologies.
No worries. I can change it to strength if you want. Oh
I
wait,
think
can I
that would
not?
be. I think that would fit, or like just
Yeah,
make it a strength.
So
I don't see a way to modify the.
I think Ben was about to give exposition on that.
roll.
Yeah, that's he's being stopped by the machine god. He is displeased.
That. All right, can you
Make
hear
Want
me?
to try that? Want to try that again, Ben?
can hear.
Yeah. So when you pop up, when the test pops up, where there's difficulty at the bottom of that list is characteristic.
Ah, there I
You
see
can
it.
click on
I
it
see
and
it.
change the characteristic of the skill.
Boom. Hey, look at that.
Not gonna.
Oh, whoops!
I'm not gonna
I
say
forgot.
anything.
I forgot to make it challenging if it was supposed to be challenging.
No, it's average. No problem.
All
Because you
right.
have a shovel, you can kind of like it makes it easier for you to pull it. You pull this, like, you pull this rock. It is oval and flat. About like the length of it is about the size of your two palms, and then the like on the sides is like one palm. It's just a large oval, kind of like light blue rock. Seems to be very polished, probably by the sand over time.
Egon gets this strange feeling that he's holding a very big egg.
You know,
He's going to put it down on the beach.
as you're
Does
putting it
it?
down,
Does it? Does it? Does it shake?
it doesn't shake. But as you pull it out, you do notice that the tremors do seem to stop.
I think I found the cause of the. I don't know what to call it. Taps the stone with the tip of his finger. Does it feel whole? Like whole all the way through?
You put your ear close to it and kind of like tap on it. It does seem to be very thick, but it does seem to be hollow.
Medford, what do you got there?
I don't know. It was buried in this beach. Bernard, any unique insights? As he points at the weird stone. Oh, sorry, that's weird stone, not weird stone.
Big is this thing?
Wasn't it like I needed like two hands to lift this thing, right?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Is that an egg?
It would be using centimeters. It would be like 30 centimeters long by 10 centimeters wide.
Holy crap, that is big.
It's like a large. Yeah, you needed like a shovel and two hands, and it has a slight. It is opaque, but you can see through it just enough. Like it has a little translucent outside, and it has a light blue color. And there are multiple, by the way. This is not the only one. There's one that's like light pink. There's one that is like a lighter green, and things like that.
All right, so is my impressive success enough to just keep like picking them up and like putting them in a small pile? All right, I do that.
Mm-hmm.
And once the hole has been emptied out of these weird things, Egon is just going to like slowly tap his foot on the sand, like trying to figure out what the hell he just did, because he's not even sure himself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid. When stuff was settling, I will look over at the things that are piled up on the tarp. Have those dipped down at all?
Sorry, are they what?
Is our stuff starting to sink into the sand?
I hope it's not.
Your stuff is like on a little, from what I understand
On the sail.
of your description, it's a little bit on a little rock formation,
Okay.
so it isn't sinking. By the way, as you have like reached this thing and put it away, you have found 3 of them. As I said, like a light blue, a light pink, and a light green. And the tremor and what seems to be like shaking the sand has stopped.
Look, let's just wait until Twintail gets back here. He might know what the hell this is. And gestures.
I'm gonna
at the-
poke it a few times.
Poke, poke, poke.
As you poke, it does feel like rock. It is like a solid. It does give a little bit of a hollow sound, but
Okay,
as you touch it,
I
it has
have
the
a
texture
crazy
of rock.
idea. I'm gonna lick it.
Ugh.
Salty.
I'm afraid. If
Is
you
it a
grab
salt?
one side and I do the other, we can lift it up enough to put it in front of the sun. This looks a little like you can see inside of it. If the sun's behind it, if there's anything inside it, maybe we can see an outline.
Is it an egg?
Want to try?
Strangest egg I ever saw.
Heaviest egg I've ever lifted.
Oh, I mean,
Why
it's
not
bigger
try
than your
breaking
head.
one open? Oh,
I know.
wait a minute.
My head is big.
Hang on. If these are eggs, are they big enough for those things? And I point up to the ripperdactyls.
By the way, Takatsaka,
Oh,
you would be
doubt
aware.
it. Their nest must be in Berard will point at the forest where Tehetakai is coming out. Over there somewhere. They're just hunting here.
Do
I
we
expect
see
they'd be quite
Tehetakai
upset
coming?
if these were their eggs.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, probably you would see Takatsaka coming out of the jungle.
Oh, we can see him when he
no.
wants to see him.
Well, he does not conceal his presence at all. He will emerge from the jungle and
There
be
he
making
is.
his way towards you.
Hey, Twintail. Found these things. What are we looking at?
What am I looking at?
Give us your oracle insight.
Do you have Lore Beast?
I don't. If this isn't something I've encountered, then...
You have not encountered this.
Tehetakai looks at it and he goes, Tehetakai, not see this. Where'd find?
Points towards the slowly crumbling hole near the beach. Right there. In the sand. Kovu, get them.
He pauses for a moment and says, Shazankas should avoid digging. Other things dig here.
Fine, well, but it was shaking the damn beach. And I stopped it. So, there's that.
Do they look like eggs of any kind that... Tata is just going to kind of push it out of his mind because it's not really relevant to what he's focusing on at the moment. And he will point back towards the jungle he went through and say, they're drawn to tunnel. Something below ground. Must find.
Well, how are we supposed to get to the tunnel if it's filled with razor sharp flying teeth?
Approach at night. Shazantli sleep. Then we go.
All right. That sounds livable.
How bright are the nights here?
He
Pitch
will.
black.
Tentakai will kind of quirk his head and look up and say, "Under threes. Very dark. Juan no
Don't we
guide.
bring any lanterns or anything? If we're gonna be skulking in the dark.
We not go deep. Should no need. Juan provide guide."
Does any of the humans here have a source of light? Because I don't.
I have night vision.
Roko
Balls.
does pipe up and says, "Oh, a moment of usefulness. Yes." And he pulls out like a hooded lantern.
Oh, that's actually very useful. Tatakai will kind of let out a hiss and say, "No chili until in tunnel."
All right. Don't
No worries.
get your tail in a twist.
Risk
What is-
waking Shazantli.
Oh, is chili the word for light?
No, it's the word for cold.
He'll kind of hold on. He'll kind of pause for a moment and say, "Chili is fire."
Oh, that's a strange language you've got. Chili fire.
Your tongue. He just sort of holds the thought for a moment and say, "Huini Joe."
All right. So, did we manage? Did we finish dropping off? Carrying all our supplies into the camp.
Yes.
All right.
Does
I won.
does any
go
of the
ahead.
party have a ranged weapon?
I believe
Nope.
one
Rod's
was.
got his sling.
Okay, that'll have to do. All right.
Roko does have a pistol.
Oh snap!
That's probably not advisable, but all right. Tatakai will just say, "Set camp, wait for night."
All right. Is the cleft that I mentioned that where we're putting all of our stuff? Is it big enough to squeeze the rowboat in there? I'm kind of picturing not. Since-
Not really.
Okay, in that case, hey, Bernard, come with me.
Bernard.
We need to. Sorry, Berard. My bad. Come with me. Let's see if we can find a place to hide the rowboat.
I'm gonna stay with the eggs. Also, we can see your Discord.
Nah, that's fine. It was just answering a message.
You both leave this little space where you are, and you can carry the rowboat. Between two people, it's not very hard to carry the rowboat with you, as you kind of like carry it inland.
So, honestly, what I'm thinking is, like, just flip it over and, like, grab a bunch of, like, leaves and branches and just whatever we can find lying around, and just cover the damn thing and make sure it's well hidden.
That's a good idea. If we did that above the cleft, then everything underneath it would be dry if it rains.
That's true. That is true.
If there's enough brush and stuff there, that it'll blend in.
Good idea. Good idea. Let's do that. So we clamber our way and put the rowboat in place,
Mm-hmm.
and then just actually no, the machete is like literally made for this. So Egon just slowly starts like hacking branches, throwing them in a pile, hacking branch, throwing pile, until we've got more than enough we could ever need to put it there.
If you
Now,
do it from different bits, it won't look like we clear cut a place.
yeah, oh yeah, true. He slowly like moves it like a slightly further in, like takes like almost dead branches and stuff like that. And yeah, out of character, do we want to if what's it called? If Egon suggests building a fire, will Tehatekai get hissy about it? Actually, you know what? Screw it. I'll do it in I'll do that in character, and say, "Hey, Twin Tail,
What?
that I know you did, I know you said no chili, but can we start a small fire?" And he sort of points at the entrance of the camp. Can we do it here? Sort of indicates the place.
Is so the cleft we're in, does it just open up to the sky, Jim?
Not anymore, since we put the rowboat and a bunch of branches and stuff over it.
Oh, he will sort of nod and say, beware chimney. But yes.
Alrighty, sweet. Egon is going to find a bunch of dead wood, gather it up, and I'm going to spend a match to light a fire. Yeah?
Oh, wasteful.
Make sure you save the coal. It could be useful for later.
Wait, out of character, coal?
Charcoal.
Oh, right. From the dead wood that gets burned.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Good idea. And he starts like gathering up like rocks and putting them in a sort of very rudimentary campfire. And from what we've been able to build here, this is about as cozy and safe one can get on the coast of Lustria. And
Tehatekai's just going to observe and judge.
All of the colonizers that are despoiling the land.
These warm bloods and not being able to just exist. Ugh.
How dare.
How dare indeed.
You guys are waiting
Till nightfall.
there until nightfall.
Oh, while we're waiting, Egon is going to attempt to teach. Actually, did Egon manage to teach Tehatekai how to play cards on the boat, or did he never try? Well, go ahead.
I don't recall Tehatekai trying to play cards.
Well, now's the perfect time. So, Egon attempts to explain the various symbols on the cards and what they mean. So, like, this is what the oh, here's a question: does Tehatekai know numerals, like numbers? Like Arabian numerals, by the way.
I believe he would be very in the... you know what? I don't think he would, actually. Because he can't read right, so I don't think he would know that.
Well, it's just more symbols to teach then. But this is gonna be weird. All right. So, Egon slowly but surely goes through it. I don't think he has to explain any. I don't think he has to explain Scarlet Empress to the other humans, but he does do a little like he pulls a card from the deck to see if the Hetekai recognizes like what the card would be called. So like he pulls a 2 of clubs, a jack of diamonds, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. And once he's fairly certain that Tehetekai has the grasp of the whole thing, he is going to attempt to deal a game, and says to the other 3, "Does anyone up for some Scarlet Empress?"
GM, may I attempt a intelligence check to see if Tehetekai follows this at all?
Honestly, the description of him trying to teach you was so good that I will allow it. You can make it. Honestly, you can make
Or
it
if we
easy
play
you want
around,
to.
I could just roll a gamble check.
I'll say roll intelligence just to see like how much you grasp of it. That's not going to impede you from gambling.
Okay, you
That's
said
just gonna be
to
like-
make it easy.
Yeah, you can make it easy intelligence checks because the description was very good. Just to see like how much you grasp from like the symbols and stuff.
He will
Apparently
quickly say
not.
and say, "How?" He's going to point at the clubs and say, "How club?"
Oh, no, it's actually Egon questions himself now. He's not actually sure why it's called a club since it looks like a little clover. I don't actually know myself. He ponders this for a moment. Life's mysteries, I guess. Maybe it could be called 2 of clovers instead.
Quarkus at the other thing say, "Clover."
Yeah, that works. All right.
What?
Gather
Clover?
around. Oh, like a plant, like a little plant that grows, like 3-leaf clover, 4-leaf clover. You know,
Tehetekai will point at a leaf and say, "Clover."
not quite, but good attempt, Twintail. Good attempt. Also, don't eat, not eat. He waves the card. He seems unsure how to explain. However, he does invite the rest of the humans around the campfire, and he is going to start dealing out a hand. He grabs a.
Tehetekai will attempt to play, but I will happily accept a penalty since he doesn't seem to understand the game very well.
For sure.
Right. Oh, Egon actually takes off his hood and spreads that out, and he's actually going to use that as a make-do table so that the cards don't get like sand on them and moisture and all that stuff. So yeah, he starts using that to lay out the. I'm pretty sure Scarlet Empress is just supposed to be poker, I think, but yeah, that's going to be the cards on the table, quote unquote. So yeah, with that, Egon starts dealing out a hand with his usual ease, and yeah, he's going to lay out a hand, and that means challenging gamble tests for all. So let's see who wins the first round. I am not going to use my card sharp for this.
Mm-hmm.
GM, do you think a minus 10 or a minus 20?
A minus 10.
Oh
Alright,
my
GM.
god.
Oh boy. Berard will join, but he's gonna take a splice of the last foot of the rope that we got to get a string that's about a foot long and a stick. And while he's playing, he's going to try to make a fire bow with outdoor survival because he is unhappy with the thought of only having fire until Manfred's matches run out. So, apply whatever penalties you want to those rolls.
Yeah, I'll say also a minus 10, as you're not really paying attention to the game itself.
I am also just standing around making sure everyone is like safe, and I'm gonna check the rest of the little alcove. Excuse me.
No, I almost won.
Oh my god, I would have gotten 7 success levels if I cheated. That would have been maybe a smidge obvious.
A little bit, yes.
Yeah, I got like 3 ace of spades.
Yeah,
all right.
As you're gambling, like Egon, you were able to give them a little bit of a taste of how the game works. You find plenty of opportunities because, like, you have a skink that doesn't understand how the game works. You have a person that is semi paying attention, and Ashling is not really in the game itself.
Nope, I'm just watching and making sure people are safe.
It's almost physically painful not to cheat to you because you see so many opportunities. You know.
Does Rocco take part, or is he just sitting out?
Rocco takes part. I'll make a roll for him.
All right.
Actually has a good number for him.
Oh god.
It rolls terribly.
Oh no.
Rocco fully gets sad because he just like abandoned his career in the Imperial fleet. So he starts fully gambling with money.
Oh no!
He starts putting shillings.
Oh jeez, no!
Don't do it. Into the boards, and like nobody's staking the shillings, but just still putting them on the stone. And, like getting sad.
Hatakai would have a aha moment and pull out his 1 shilling, having finally discovered a purpose for the shiny pieces of metal that the warm bloods keep lugging around.
Mirage sees this, just tosses his cards into the middle, and devotes himself to the fire bow.
You see that Roko kind of like looks to Hatakai and goes, "Yes, whenever you get so hopeless that you are in a cursed land without hope and without a way of getting out, just bet all of your life savings. Everything will be fine."
Think about 50% of the words he used in that sentence are not ones that the guy has a very good grasp on. So he'll just sort of let that hang in the air for a moment, and will put the coin away slowly under the assumption that he has not applied this correctly.
And you see that you know Egon, Roko is trying to bet money on the game and taking it very seriously, although he's playing horribly.
Yeah, Egon isn't even taking his money. He's just letting him, like, he lets him just bet over and over again, but he never wins. Poor guy.
After a while, he just like looks into the ocean. It's like, "You didn't even lose my money, man." He starts crying. But you guys are able to kind of
Egon sort of looks over towards Ashling, and he sort of like very obviously like jerks his head over towards Rocco, like who's crying into his palms, like with a very, "Come on, you know how to deal with this."
Oh, right. You did your best, and you lost. Oh, that wasn't good. Hold on. Your best wasn't good enough.
At the conclusion of the round, Tatakai will look at his card and say, "Tatakai, do right."
No, wait. Well, first off, don't show anyone your card until we're supposed to show them. Egon looks at the cards. Some of them are like upside down. Actually, no. What am I saying? Cards can't be
Ha!
upside
They're
down.
proof for that.
Yeah. Wow.
He found a way.
Yeah. It's like,
Or
how did you do
they're
that?
sideways.
All right. Egon slowly like reads Tehatakai's hand that he's holding out. He sees that he has like almost almost a flush, but he's like missing like a tiny bit of it, and all of the cards are like jumbled. None of them like would be like from like I don't know like 6 to 10, and they're all in different order. So he Egon slowly like moves the hand around and points to it and says, like that, and he shows him how he almost had a winning hand.
Eventually Tehetaka will nod and do his best to remember this knowledge for later.
Nice. All right.
As you guys are passing time, the sun begins to get closer to the horizon, and sun starts to set, gets to night, and you do see and hear as the Ripperdactyls stop, kind of like this little cycle of getting close to the beach, and they start flying away inland to whatever direction they are coming from. And after a while, you do see that the beach kind of gets empty.
It's time.
Right. Go ahead.
Oh,
Shazankas follow. Tehetaka lead.
Egon dusts his hood down, puts it on his head, pulls it up.
right then.
Off we go. I look to Rocco and gently tap him on the put my hand on his shoulder and say, Rocco, I need you to make sure this camp is here when we get back, okay?
You see, he was like almost like preparing to go, but as you say this, he looks relieved. It's like, yes, of course, I will guard this with.
You don't have to guard it. Don't have to guard it with your life. Just keep an eye on it. Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of like nods to this and gets close to the fire. Very
Taps
red
him.
from crying.
Pats him on the shoulder. Good man. And off we go.
You guys go closer to the camping site. It is. The stars on the sky are plentiful as you're starting to get like closer and closer to like full nighttime. You start seeing the moon kind of like this large, very. It seems also to be a little bit closer to, a little bigger than normal. It really illuminates the sky, and there's like a veil and almost like a current of stars flying around the sky. These constellations, which to most of you are completely foreign, you have never seen these stars before, kind of creating this tapestry in the sky, showing different symbols and different signs. And as you peek, every time you look, you almost see like you see some. You almost look at it, and you see like a different creature, like a scorpion or a spider or like a lizard. Sometimes it seems almost like you could see Tehetaka himself, kind of this like very long lizard, twin-tailed on the sky, made of stars. they keep changing as you go, as more stars keep coming to this almost almost like celestial conference. And as one of you have asked whether the night is bright here. Not necessarily is every night, but tonight it is very bright. Especially now that you're going away from a artificial light source from the fire. You are seeing very clearly, although everything is tinted with that light blue of the moon, but you can see very clearly in front of you. The only point where you see is that the jungle is now this dark wall of this dark green. The light that shines on the beach doesn't get inside the jungle a lot. So you can see that as you're walking, you can see the sea to your right, which is a very clear sea. You can also see some luminescent fishes and little sea creatures inside. The beach very clearly in front of you with this little plateau, and to your left you see this dark wall of thick forest, with a lot of small sounds of kind of like crickets and small birds and bats and these smaller creatures on the jungle. Although more than once as you're walking, you do hear something else. It's kind of a screech or a scream or some other sound, some other kind of like a sound of a bigger creature that shuts everything up, and then slowly the sounds begin again. In this cacophony, something happens very suddenly, and then it goes back to normal. But it happens in the jungle. The beach itself seems to be very clear and very apparently safe. As Berard says, as safe as you can be in Lustria. You start getting closer to it. You do see on this little plateau, as you get from beach to land, to earth, you see the grass growing. This very faint grass that is growing from the plateau, on the beginning of the plateau upwards. And you start seeing scratch marks on the earth itself. These deep gashes around this place. And you see, which are the Ripperdactyls as they come to sweep something from the earth, and you see around this little hole on the ground. It's big enough for a person to get inside, around 2 meters. As you get close, the shining light of the moon does illuminate enough that you see that it is a hole that doesn't go directly downwards. It goes on a diagonal downwards. So it is kind of instead of a vertical hole, it is a slope that goes into the earth.
Interesting.
Who
And
has the lantern, by the way?
and that actually, it's been 2 hours. It's time for a break.
Hey,
Uh,
I'll say I took the lantern. I'll just pop it into my character.
So we're gonna take about a 10-minute break. For anyone that needs to go to the bathroom or grab snacks or whatever. I have to go grab something really fast. So it'll take me a minute, but I will be back as quick as I can. Just because I have to make sure something's taken care of. But we will resume in roughly 10 to 15 minutes.
Alrighty.
Woo.
I will put up.
I'm gonna grab a drink.
I will put up the be right back screen while we're doing that. Anyway, hole in the ground. Where were we?
Yeah. As you guys go forward, for sake of curiosity, what is the marching order as you're walking towards the hole here?
I would think Tehetakai would be in the lead.
Egon will be at the back.
Mm-hmm.
So then Berard and Ashling would be 2 and 3.
And Egon has the lamp.
The light
Yes,
source, yes.
Egon has the light source, and he hasn't lit it yet.
Just curious, who all has night vision? I know I have night vision.
I do.
Okay, so we got 2 people with it.
You guys get closer to the as you gets closer to the plateau. I need Tehetakai first to make me an endurance test.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh dear.
Is it challenging?
It's gonna be okay. For the first time we do have it is challenging.
Wait, what are we doing? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Ooh. Not great.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh dear.
you start smelling this horrible smell that is not only like a smell of like decay, it's almost like a poisonous smell, and it gets into your nostrils, and I have no idea how lizards puke.
Well,
But-
luckily I'm a lizard man, so we still manage.
So like you, all of you see as Jayataka is kind of like leaning away, and you see him stop, fully clench his like
What?
stomach area, and start like dry heaving.
Away.
You are
Away.
under the nausea symptom.
Oh, gross.
Ew.
I
Tetris
imagine
going.
a cat picking up a hairball.
He's going to back up, a hand clutching at his nostril, and be trying to like wave away the stench with his staff.
Can we do we smell what he's so abhorred by?
From your position, no. As you kind of like stop at this, you can try getting closer if you want to.
Shukikata!
What is it, Twintail?
Filth!
All right.
I just realized we're basically Scooby-Doo and Sotek is our Scooby.
Ah. Does that make? Wait, which was Shaggy then?
No, enough of this. Moving on.
It's you. You're Shaggy.
No. Voice Twintail.
So, getting away from that as fast as we can. So yeah, as Tatakai starts heaving, it's very immediate. As you like smell, immediately your body clenches, almost like it locks up a little, and you start kind of like dry heaving. You manage to keep it down just enough, but you do feel nauseous from the smell. As if something clawed into your nostrils and clenched your guts.
Oh, Ulrich's teeth. That stinks. Smells like smells like somebody popped open a sewer, right?
As you guys start getting closer,
Are you okay?
Ashling, Berard, and Egon, you do start smelling this. It is a horrible smell, but it doesn't seem to affect you in any way.
So yeah, it's just rank, but not like bowel, like stomach emptying.
No.
Weird.
It's bad, but it doesn't seem to affect you in the way that it affects the Hetakai.
All right. So, do we reach the entrance to the hole in the ground?
As you keep going, you do start to get closer to it, and Berard and Egon, you do arrive because I think none of you. The only one that has night vision beyond the Hetrakai is Ashling, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then, yeah, Berard and Egon, both of you, the cave in front of you is fully dark.
All right.
And
Egon. Oh, go ahead.
and you do see there's not a gust of wind, but there is like air comes out of the cave. It's not a cold wind. It's like almost like a breath,
Ugh.
like an exhale from a giant creature.
There must be another exit somewhere. If there's a draft coming through here. But we'll figure that out when we get there.
Move carefully.
Egon is going to spend another match in order to light the lantern, and then, but he'll keep it hooded for now until we get fully inside. Right.
I'm gonna let Egon go in front now.
All right. Machete out, lantern up, slowly but surely. Egon takes the lead.
Mm-hmm. Right, so Egon goes in front. It is kind of like a narrow cave. It's kind of like rounded. So it is going to be a single file. Funny you mentioned the Denver crawling because it affects quite. So Egon is going in front. Who is going to be following directly behind Egon?
It should probably be Berard, since he also needs light to see.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can do Ashling and then me.
That's okay.
I would think.
So basically, you and Egon exchange places.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Change places.
All right.
You light the lantern. It is still hooded. There's a little bit of a flame around you. You can kind of see the surrounding of the cave. The little lantern you have, by the way, it's not a lantern; it's a storm lantern. Which is basically a lantern that you can kind of focus the light.
Yeah, I know. I've read that bit.
So are you keeping it completely covered, or are you like opening up in front of you?
So until we actually step foot inside the cave entrance, I will keep it hooded. So as soon as Egon takes his first step in, he stops for just a moment, opens the aperture on the storm lantern, and as the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted and purpose is made clear.
The light fills you with determination. You see in front of you this kind of descending path. It's very uneven. Sometimes you can, as you begin going further, you need to crouch and kind of like it's kind of like a wavy path that keeps going downward. And the air is filled with this horrible stench. But it doesn't remind you of anything in particular. It's a bad smell. But it doesn't have it's not a stench of like dead bodies or decay properly like that. It's a humid. It's kind of hard to pinpoint whatever smell this is. The path around you is like.
It doesn't smell like filth, like poop.
No, doesn't smell like filth. It doesn't smell like anything you can recognize. It's almost the opposite of like a perfume. It has a very specific smell that is kind of like very strong and aggressive, but it doesn't have a proper. It doesn't smell of something specific.
Like a heady musk, if you will.
Kind of like that, yeah.
All right. Okay.
It's a very stinky perfume you cannot recognize the ingredients of.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. As you start getting close, the cave, kind of going down, the cave opens up a little. The cave is like pure, just like caked earth. That you can see has a couple of small scratch marks on the sides and on the earth. A lot of it is just like pure caked earth, like this kind of like muddy earth, a little humid. But also has a couple of like scratch marks on it.
Egon sort of like pans the light over the walls. Is there any clay here?
You
Like-
can't. I don't think you would be able to identify this properly.
Fair enough. But yes. Yeah.
To
He-
you,
he would-
it
he-
looks like just mud.
Okay, so probably not. All right. With that, Egon checks behind him, like points the light in their direction just to make sure everybody is there.
Manfred, is everything okay?
Yeah, just making sure everyone's in line, and he sort
Yes.
of scans the light over.
Tread careful.
All right, we keep on walking until we
We-
find something.
You keep walking. As you get closer and closer to the bottom, to like the deeper and deeper into this, you do see at one point what seems to be like a bottom. The cave opens up, kind of like a round space, about 10 meters from one side to the other, and you see. As you start getting close, actually, you do feel the earth change. It begins to get softer. It doesn't have that like particular feeling of stepping in mud, almost like a suction. It begins to be almost like stepping on
That's
grass. Yeah, kind of like
Mm.
when you step in very very
Like
wet
what-
earth.
Yeah,
Then it
like
sticks.
it like sucks your boot in.
Yeah, it sucks your boot in. After a while, it stops being like that, and it gets to almost like a grassy feeling. And you look down, and you see this carpet
I
of.
thought you were gonna say crab. I thought you were gonna say crab.
There's a whole cave. We have not excluded crabs yet. Nobody checked for crabs.
Wait, I looked
Um,
down. Is it like green grass?
It's not grass, actually. It's kind of purplish. It's like a
Is it moss?
carpet of a purplish moss.
I am gonna pick up the moss from the ground, look at it, and I'm gonna look at Tehetakai, and I'm gonna say, Tehetakai, I got you a handful of moss.
That is a very personal joke.
Tehetakai is just gonna kind of give her it's a pretty deadpan reptile stare.
You don't want moss?
No.
Oh, okay. She
By the
puts
way,
it back
Tehetakai,
down.
as she offers you the moss, by the way, as she kind of like waves the moss in your direction, you feel the wave of nausea follow the movement. As if the movement of the moss give you another whiff of this scent that is giving you nauseous, and you have to again hold yourself not to puke at this scent.
Yeah, if anything, he's gonna like stumble backwards a little bit. Tataka is gonna kind of kneel closer to the ground. So does this like horrible odor seem to be originating from this stuff?
A little bit, yeah. But it's not the same thing. It's like smelling an apple versus smelling apple juice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
This seems to have like a close smell, but the noxious one is different.
Okay. Yeah, his tail's gonna kind of like be flicking behind him a bit. And he'll simply say, "Getting closer."
Very well.
I don't recognize the substance, do I?
Give me.
Outdoor
There's
survival.
no lore lustria, so probably outdoor survival would be closest to this.
Okay. Challenging, I would assume.
Challenging, yeah.
Nope.
It's
No.
it is familiar in the way of like you have been made aware of what this smells like, but you can't pinpoint exactly what it is.
Okay.
But it is something. Now that you're kind of thinking about it, you do remember smelling this before.
All right, then I'll just continue following along.
You guys arrive at this like clearing that has a bunch of this, like, as the in the cave, as you're going down, there's the moss starts to appear, and then as you get to the end of it, it opens up into like a circular room. A little
I'm gonna
bit.
keep this
Some
moss.
of you need to crouch a little. It's like a meter and a half high, or 5 feet.
Good. Berard is fine then.
Victory.
And you see that some of this moss creeps and kind of like rises in some small mounds, some like little pillars of earth that is like covered in this moss.
I take more moss.
And as you look into these mounds, they seem to be moving slightly.
Ugh.
I'm gonna poke it with my stick.
No.
As you poke it, it kind of erupts in movement, and you see a bunch of reddish blue and purple ants quickly rise from this like little point where you poked and go into the to the stick, kind of like rising on the stick and keep
I'm just
moving.
gonna flail the stick until they come off.
They quickly come off. They're large ants. They are like the size of a thumb.
Ugh.
But they are.
Big
And you
ass
see that
ants.
they have this like.
Manfred, take care of this. These are gross.
But they don't seem to be like aggressive towards you. They just after you poke it and it kind of like goes out. They quickly go back.
Don't
And you
poke.
see them.
anything.
You see as they quickly as you poke the hole into it, they quickly redo the space. They pull moss and earth in a very unified motion and close the hole, and the movement ceases again. And you see these are small like ant hills. Each of these little mounds you see is a little ant hill.
All
It's
right,
about
everyone. Oh, go ahead.
30 centimeters high, almost like a pyramid. And the movement you saw is like sometimes an ant will like leave and then go back.
Everyone, watch your step. Don't want to hit any of these pyramid thingies.
You
Who
make
knew
a
bugs
nest.
could build things? Yeah, something like that. You know, gestures to one of the mounds. Yeah, like those. Don't step on them. Alright, so very carefully... Oh, go ahead.
Is there anything beyond, anything else in the room besides the mounds and the moss-like substance covering the ground?
Give me a perception check. It's gonna be average.
Night vision.
Nice.
Hey, good
Plus
roll.
6.
Yeah, you actually do see there's a portion of it that is not covered by moss. It's a straight line on the earth. It's like you can see it kind of like rises a little bit above. It is still covered in earth, but you see a straight line about 50 centimeters of this like small little line on the earth that has no moss on it.
Does there appear to be like a peculiar material that they're just not building on?
You would probably have to poke around. From your point of view, it just seems to be mud.
Okay,
I do have a poker.
I will head over to where that line is and take a closer look and see if it looks like it's because they're not building on if the moss isn't extending on that for see if I could determine why.
As you get close to it, you have night vision, so there's no test required. You can kind of weave your way through the mossy ground. What do you want to do to check the earth?
I think what he would do is, like, as he approaches, does it just look like regular earth, or is it like a different color, or does it have like a different texture to it in appearance?
Has it been disturbed recently?
It doesn't seem to be disturbed recently, but it seems to be loose earth. It's not the caked earth of the cave. It seems to be just something that is covered in earth and hasn't been uncovered by what is moving here.
Okay. Is there any kind of notable change in like smell or anything? Like, is that gross smell that I'm picking up get more intense as I get close to it, or is it just kind of remaining the same situation?
Remaining the same situation.
All right. Tetekai will take his quarterstaff and he'll put it where it starts in the moss on one side of the line, and he'll kind of like drag it across the line.
As you grab and as you go across the line, you feel a thunk as it stops. Underneath the line, there's something hard.
Okay, I will use my quarterstaff to clear off the dirt and see what's under it.
As you start going, you do feel kind of going and clearing a little bit of the path. You feel metal underneath.
Ink.
And as you kind of like start
Tetekai he'll call out something here.
All right. Egon moves over with the light. So
I pull out my gun.
Look at things. God damn it! You don't have a gun. So I pull out my gun.
As you get closer to it and as you shine a line, you see something that I think probably Egon and the others have never seen before. It is a giant mound of gold.
What?
And you start remembering, Tetekai, the thing you're after here, which is why the mining colony came here. A thing called the Tale of Sotek. This is the beginning of it.
Ah, it's a vein. Okay.
Yeah.
Tehetakai will kind of look, he'll just sort of nod to himself and say, need to clear. And he'll look back at Aisling and then kind of grasp for the word she said earlier and say, Moss, burn away. Attracting Shazadli.
Okay.
As you say that, from the corner of the room, you hear
Swings towards sound. Lights
you
John.
see the size of a small dog, like a bug or something. Gigantic for the type of it. Purple and pink frog.
Tehetakai will look at it
To
and
be
say,
more specific.
that must go! Now!
And you hear as
Run!
it begins multiplying, and these like beady-eyed creatures start flowing into the caverns from the sides as starts multiplying.
Yeah, we need to go.
You guys run?
Run!
Yes.
Run!
You sprint out of the cave. I am going to need some tests from some of you to avoid the anthills. That's going to be an athletics test.
I got this.
It's going to be challenging for Egon and Tehetakai because both of you have said that you were going in front. Berard and Aisling can do it as average, just because you guys were a little bit behind, closer to the end of the cave. I am going to show a little image so that the chat can see the creatures. Don't worry.
You know, now might be time to start using.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my 1 fortune point.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Oh, well, mine is on.
Oh my god, they're so cute!
They are not cute.
Look at those! He's got his little tongue
I mean,
out.
they are adorable.
You're not
but...
boop the snoot.
I wish to boop
Ooh,
this
yes.
creature.
Yeah, I failed slightly.
I passed.
Hi, Kofu.
Yeah, we do not want to be down here. This is gonna get bad.
Alright, I believe the worst results were -1 from...
I can spend another fortune to make that a -0.
Hold on, didn't you... You got a +20, didn't you?
Yeah, that's why it was a 35.
Oof.
Wait, your athletics is 15?
Apparently.
That shouldn't be
That's
possible.
impossible.
It is 15.
Why is it 15?
Why does it have?
That's
-20?
not that's physically impossible.
Hi, Kofu.
Your agility had a modifier of -20.
Why?
I don't know why that happened.
Aisling out here just nerfing herself just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
She does have encumbrance too.
Yeah, I've been trying to take care of that.
Wait, you wouldn't have brought all that stuff with you.
No. I wouldn't have my backpack on.
Oh yeah, you need to have that
Yeah, then
de-equipped.
we can take that actually has not failed. Because
Okay.
you would
Yeah.
have
I will be the only one who will fail here.
Egon, I am going to need you to make me a endurance test. It's going to be a challenging endurance.
Alrighty. I have
You got ants!
I got ants. I got 1 in 3 chance of making this. Hey, look at that. Nailed it.
The ants, you see as they begin to crawling on your, like around your boot and getting inside your feet. And you feel the sting as they start biting. And these are large ants. Due to like the friction of like moving and running, they eventually die. But like you start feeling a lot from the damage. You're going to take 4 wounds, but
Ow.
you resist the venom of the creatures.
Alrighty. One moment. I need to find my wound.
Yay, Lustria.
Woo!
And yeah,
Absolutely the worst.
Tehetekai, now that you do see the blood toads, you're like, oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, that adds up.
So you guys book it, and you're able to flee no problem. The creatures don't follow you from beyond the cave.
Yeah, so
go back.
other than the effect they have on the Ripperdactyls, are there any blowtoads aren't venomous, right? Or poisonous?
No.
Okay. It's just the other effect they have. Okay.
Yep.
So once we are out of the tunnel and back on the surface, Tehetekai will turn to the others and say, must clear out toads. Very dangerous.
There must have been hundreds of them. How are we supposed to get them all out?
Just kill or move. They not dangerous. And he'll point in the sky at the canopy and say, Shazantly dangerous. Not toad.
What's Shazantly?
Ah, that's how you do it.
Tehetekai will kind of struggle for a word a little bit and say,
On the ant.
No, Ripper bird. Flying teeth. He wants more points at the canopy.
Oh, they don't like the frogs.
Hate frogs. Drawn to them. Very aggressive.
Fuller image.
Oh my god!
They're so cute! Oh my god!
Toads used in war. Very, very dangerous.
Very adorable, you mean?
It does count as a lizard for Ashling's short-term goal, because I have deep fears.
Oh no!
You cannot have a blowtorch for a pet.
Sadly, this is not. I don't think it counts as a lizard because it's a frog, right?
It is an amphibian.
That is not a lizard.
No.
Lizards are strictly different. Kovu, can you pick a spot and actually sit down?
Lizards. The book doesn't make a difference between amphibians and reptiles because some reptiles do have the amphibious trait. So I'm just gonna rule that it is not an amphibian. It is not a reptile, for the sake of short-term goal. Especially because I'm scared.
So Tehetekai will point back down the tunnel and say, "Should burn out, you silly."
Well, frogs usually hang around, water where they can spawn.
I don't think I know enough about blowtoads to answer that.
You have failed your previous checks. If you want to do any,
I think
if you want to do another.
I'll go for an outdoor survival if that's all right.
No problem. Average.
Hey.
I passed.
So one of the things that is fucked up about blood toads is that blood toads they're massive as far as like toads go, and their strength is considerate, so they have no problem digging. So a lot of the way that blood toads kind of like go around is like just dig out of caves.
Diggy hole.
Sometimes they can even dig like a couple of miles in a direction, and then beyond that, go up into trees where Riperdactyl eggs are, grab them, like fully just ingest them into their mouth, and then climb down and dig back. So they are relentless creatures, and they are terrifying in that way.
Yeah. So
because
Tehetica will say, no water. They dig here. Likely not long ago. Burn out moss. Toads leave. Or die.
Egon just walks right back into the mine, saying nothing, not informing anyone of what he's about to do.
Tehetica assumes you're about to do the smart thing.
Manfred, maybe you shouldn't go. Okay,
And he's
you're
gone.
going. All right. Tehetica, when he dies, we have to retrieve his body.
Ants need food too.
All right.
Gerard's gonna look at this and follow Manfred. He's
Wait,
quite good at setting up fires.
All right. When we reach the moss again, are the toads anywhere to be seen?
They do seem to be around.
All right. In that case, I'm going to grab one of my few remaining precious matches. I'm
Wait,
going to.
what are you... That's a silly way to do that, Manfred. You build a fire, like a campfire. Burn it from the top. It'll burn down, it'll be hot enough to light the moss, and we can be not here when it happens.
Or, hear me out, lights match, throws it into moss.
Manfred awaits the damp cave moss not to catch fire with the match.
Yeah, it does fizzle. It just...
No,
Moss is usually wet.
I was really hoping that would work.
Get some charcoal from the previous fire.
I will fetch. Tehetica is going to run back to camp to get charcoal.
Gerard will go outside to gather up enough kindling and other things to set up a proper fire that will dry out the moss and hopefully dry out more moss as it burns.
Yeah, we need to smoke this sucker out.
You were the first one to notice the gigantic creature on the beach, the Hetakai. As
Sorry,
you
what?
go back, you see on the beach, close to where you park your boat, there's this massive, at least 40 meters long turtle that has these coral growing on its head and back. Massive yellowish shell with some algae kind of hanging from the side. And you see that it has one of its paws, which ends in a claw, trying to reach into the
Oh dear God.
the kind of cleft, and it looks towards you and gives almost like a guttural little roar, and keeps trying to claw inside.
Yeah.
And you see a terrified Rocco on the inside because it can't put its paw fully into the cleft. So you see Rocco with the pistol in hand looking at it terrified inside.
I'm going to go around the back of that cleft and you try and climb up it instead of trying to go through the angry turtle monster.
Just an image. The image is inside water, but it is on the beach.
Oh
just so
dear.
You have a visual.
Oh dear.
Aw, that's so cute.
Why is everything here cute?
When Tehetica, they lure you in with it. When Tehetica gets close enough that he feels confident, Rocco can hear him, is going to say, "Give eggs."
Oh, okay.
What?
You're not
Sure.
there. You're not there.
Wait, I would come back.
No, you stayed with us.
No, I thought you were gonna die.
Okay, as like Tehetekai and
That's actually true, though. I did stay behind because I did talk to you.
and only Tehetekai's there. Tehetekai, as you're there, Roko looks at you, terrified beyond belief. Is like, what, what, what eggs? Did we catch eggs? Do we have eggs?
Tantakai will like be attempting to mime the rough size of the eggs, and be like, eggs.
Did we bring those into our stuff? I thought they got left out on the beach.
Nope, we didn't.
Nope,
we
y'all-
brought them in.
Y'all definitely took them.
I made a note of that. And he starts like scrambling, starts throwing stuff like blankets and like coils of rope, as he has no idea what you're talking about.
I will attempt to. Am I able to climb up the crag we're kind of between and like lower myself into the camp? Like jump down into it?
Kind of like go over it.
Yeah, that way I'm not trying to go. Kind of like how we put the boat on top, climb up to where the boat is positioned, and then drop my way in.
Actually, yes. I didn't think that, but yeah, that's actually a good idea. Yeah, you can easily climb there. And Roko is still jump scared by your presence as you flutter.
He'll just look at him and kind of angrily growl, "Chor!" And then he's going to push him aside and look for the eggs.
You see them, they're like on a little coil of rope. There's these three like large stones which you qualify as eggs.
He will pick them up one at a time and gingerly set them where the turtle can hopefully see them and be like carefully he will roll them one at a time in its direction.
As you do that, it does a little bit of a it's not a roar, it does like a as it like goes down with its mouth, and it puts the egg fully on its beak, and it like gulps it down, and as it opens, looks towards where you showed up, and still with the egg on its mouth, kind of goes and expects the other eggs.
I will continue pushing them out.
As it grabs all three of them, it closes its mouth, kind of like clenches it, and goes and twists the body around and starts making its way through the beach, away from you guys.
That guy feels irritated and is just going to. Is the fire out?
Yeah, probably the fire would be out.
He is going to just grab a little bit of a length of cloth, or like a blanket, and just shovel a bunch of the charcoal into it, and then pick it back up. And he's not really gonna say anything to Rocco. He's just gonna leave.
You see Rocco is cursing something underneath his breath. You don't know if he's like cursing or spraying, actually, or praying. Looks similar, and you make your way back.
That sounds like a warm blood problem. I'm out.
And after a while, as you see from a distance, you do see the turtle stops a couple of dozen meters away and starts digging underneath the sand again.
Okay.
Okay, you go back. You have your charcoal.
Alright. Meanwhile, we have just been doing we've been gathering firewood as much as we can, so we can just completely air this cavern out.
Mm-hmm. It is challenging to try and find like dry wood in these jungles, but I'm not gonna make you roll for it. It just like takes a while to find some good pieces to bring back and do a little bit of a campfire. But yeah, you're able to find something, no problem. All right.
Have I
All
returned?
right.
Yeah, you return with the coal. You guys have a little campfire, a little firewood, and then the coal.
As he approaches, he will look at the three of them and say, "Waxtley came for eggs."
So they were eggs.
No dig on beach.
Fine.
Large Waxtley.
A large what?
Loxley.
What's a Loxley?
I don't know if he would
Soon
know.
type.
Yeah, he'll have to think about it. He kind of says like, water.
Rocco will know. We can wait till he tells us then.
Agreed. All right. Egon sacrifices yet another match.
Egon, wait. We
What?
got kindling and a lantern that's lit. We light the kindling with the lantern, not the match. Honestly, you city folk.
Look, I'm used to having access to matches. Sue me.
Before we burn or smoke/burn the cave, I want to get one of the bloat toads and bludgeon it.
You want to capture blood?
I need a dead/unconscious bloat toad.
All right.
So I will attack one of them.
Would you prefer an unconscious or dead one?
I would
Just
prefer
so
it
I
dead.
have like degrees of success. Dead? Okay. So roll me an attack with the quarterstaff. If you get a +3 or above, he's gonna be dead. So +0 or up to
Yeah,
+2,
if he gets
he's gonna
knocked
be-
out, that's fine too. But
Yeah, just so we have like degrees of success and we know. Challenging.
ooh,
Yeah.
Oh god,
Oh, no.
that's a fumble.
yeah,
Fortune point. Fortune point.
I don't have any fortune points.
God. Goddamn
He's a little-
lizardmen
he's a
and
little
lack of
lizard
fortune
man.
points.
And
Alright.
you're dead.
I'm about to. I'm gonna have to have
GG.
a boss fight with a freaking toad.
GG, no re.
I'm not gonna do a full fight. I'm just gonna attack with the blood toad, just so we see how much
Toad.
damage you take for the attempt.
Toad fights back.
Hey,
Uh,
man. It's the famous
Toad's-
movie Toad Strikes Back.
Toad- Toads are strong. Toads strung together.
Oh, good. It also sucks.
It also sucks. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say it just. You are able to grab an unconscious toad. You're gonna take 1 damage just to see, like, just because he
The
scratches you a
ensuing
little.
struggle. Yeah.
Yeah, just the struggle of catching the thing until you can bludgeon. It's like when you grab a fish.
Yeah, I know
You know-
exactly what you mean.
Lord of the Rings, he like grabs a fish and bludgeons it on a rock, and then it moves again, and he keeps bludgeoning it.
Hey
It's
Berard,
kind of the guy with the blood, though.
Yeah?
Duel of the Fates over there.
So lots.
You are able to grab. By the way, the size of the blood toad is small, so it is a struggle because the Hetokai has the same size range of
Yeah.
the blood toad. So it is a battle of the minds there.
It's
I'm not
not-
gonna roll full combat because it's gonna be 5 people against 1 toad, but you know.
It's
It is a
not
struggle.
my fault that small covers a very large set of sizes.
Yeah.
Why are you so small? Why are you so little? Why are you so tiny?
You see the head guy suplex a blood toad while you guys are lighting up a campfire. Yeah, you managed to grab yourself an unconscious one.
Cool. I will need this in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
You
jeez, Rick.
guys, no, it is not tiny. It is this small, and it is a scary creature. You guys are able to kind of like put fire on it. Very quickly as you are starting this fire, you do notice that the kind of like the smell is starting to change. It's hard to say exactly the feeling you have, but as the smoke starts kind of like going up and into the cave, it is the smell changes. And there is a second of just overall like there's a second of silence until you start hearing the same sounds of the blood toads on the inside. And you start kind of hearing the earth vibrate a little.
Right, that's our cue. Toss the smoky bits onto the fire and let's run.
Alright, and whoosh, off we go.
And you guys are gonna run back to your camp?
I mean,
run
in front
back
of
out
the mine entrance.
Yeah, run back out of the tunnel. There's something I need to do before we go back to camp.
Secret tunnel.
You guys go back to the beginning. The fire, how big is the campfire you guys light?
I mean, as big as we could possibly make it. Like, we were like bordering on bonfire, but that's only if we were able to like find enough stuff.
Yeah,
for
because
one day.
the goal to get the moss for it to be hot enough and burn long enough for the moss to dry out and catch fire.
Okay.
If it's not in one big pile, it's in a pile that leads to other piles.
Gotcha. I would say the effort for every single part of it, which is like grabbing the firewood in Lustria, which is a very humid place, and all of the effort, you guys are narrowing in like 2 a.m. territory.
Okay.
Because of like just the amount of time you guys need to grab all of the resources. So it is going to passing midnight. All of you do start feeling a little tired as the night kind of goes off, and there is that sense of like you're starting to push into fatigue.
Okay.
Do
we need to endurance test, or are we not quite at that point yet?
You're not quite at that point, but just to be, it's kind of like as a sign of like if you try doing something much major now, it is going to be an endurance test.
Okay.
Or you're getting fatigued.
Okay. Tehetekai has one thing he needs to do now. Because when we get out of the tunnel, Tehetekai will say, head back to camp. Tehetekai, take care of one thing.
Alright, don't get yourself killed, Twintail. We'll wait up, and Egon is going to open up the like side lid on the lantern and blow it out.
Or are you gonna set up a trap for one of them water guys?
No trap. Lead away.
Gerard will sigh in disappointment.
Shrug and leave.
All right.
Don't die.
He will look at her.
Do your
what do you
best.
wish to do, Tehetakai?
Once they have kind of started walking away, Tehetakai wants to approach the nearest set of trees. So starting at the tunnel, he's going to take out his dagger and he's going to stab the bloat toad, kill it.
No.
And basically he's going to spread some of its blood and other toad bits between the tunnel and then the nearest tree, and then he's going to take it as deep as he can reasonably get into the forest or the jungle in like an hour, marking it along the trees as he goes to try and create a trail for the Ripperdactyls to follow.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's just gonna toss its corpse somewhere on a little spot where they'll find it and presumably shred it to pieces.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna ask just to do me an endurance test, a challenging endurance test.
Okay.
Just because of the fatigue, because as I said, like you're pushing your body.
I passed with 2 successes.
Grace. You were able to go into the to the jungle. You say like an hour into the jungle.
Yeah, to make sure it's like really far away from us.
Mm-hmm. Do
So
me a
he'll-
perception check.
Okay, his goal will be to get back to the camp by around like 4 or 5.
Yeah, just to leave a trail so that they follow and don't
What's
come back.
the modifier?
Challenging.
2 fail.
Mhm.
On perception.
You go and you come back. You find your way back, no problem. I don't think navigating this much is a problem to Tehetakai.
Okay. And the last thing he'll do before he goes to sleep is he's going to throw himself into the ocean and swim around a bit to try and get the smell off of him. And then he'll retire.
Takes a while. Takes a big while. And as you come back, you do notice your friends, your companions. They still have this like small lingering smell of the noxious fumes that the toads produced. It is not enough to affect you. Like it's not gonna give you nausea on the next day.
Yeah, well,
it is just uncomfortable.
yeah, that we will need to deal with that in the morning. Okay. He will find a place to sleep then.
The meanwhile, as he's gone for like these 2 hours, what are the rest of you doing?
Probably just gonna go to sleep, considering how late it is. Because the turtle is long gone, right?
The turtle is not gone, actually. You can still see it on a distance. It has dug a hole, deposited the eggs on the hole, and then covered and is currently resting on top of it. It hasn't done anything aggressive towards you or anything else. It seems to be just sleep.
In that case, we just tiptoe Scooby-Doo style around it and head into the cleft to find Rocco, see if he's okay.
Boy, I bet there's some good eating on one of those.
Egon just does a throat-slitting motion on towards Berard without saying anything. Like, cut that nonsense out. With that, is Rocco okay?
He's terrified. He is wide-eyed, like the eyes are red from crying and panic. He did another bonfire. It was a very small one. And he's currently like crouched, hugging his knees, very close to the fire, and just looking intently at it.
Hey, Rocco, buddy, we're back.
What?
See?
What?
Look, we're all fine. Everybody's fine. You seem to be, slightly worse for wear, but you're alive, and the turtle outside is sleeping, so don't worry about it. Actually, I mean, people know what turtles are, right?
I know what turtles are, yes.
Yeah, see, it's just a big one. It's not gonna do anything.
It's not a big one, it is a gigantic one.
Details, but
It almost
Import-
crushed me.
Well, you should see the size of the frogs here, too.
Frogs?
yeah, big
Came
ones.
up to Manfred's waist.
Yeah.
On hot teeth.
He looks back intently into the fire and just like disassociates. He is away.
Yeah.
Disassociates. That's that's so funny.
you see his eyes kind of go a little bit grayer, almost like light passes around it as he just looks into the fire.
He'll be fine.
Giant
He'll be
turtles, giant toads, giant turtles, giant toads, giant turtles, giant toads.
Quick pat on the shoulder. He'll be fine. And Egon is gonna go head over towards the sleeping area been set up, and he's just gonna lie down, put his sling bag underneath his head to use as a pillow.
I will join in this. Sleeping seems nice.
Backpack as a pillow.
I also lay on, like, I lay out my backpack and encourage you to, like, lay on it.
Yeah, he does. It's nice.
Berard takes out his second cloak that isn't soaked in seawater and damp, and he's going to lay on that. And leave his other cloak to dry near the fire.
Stay close, otherwise you might get cold.
Question. Is it even cold out?
The temperature is
Well, we're on the southern hemisphere now, so if anything, it's going to be hot.
the temperature is hot, like the ambient air. Now that it gets to because you are in the coast. Now that it gets to during the night, it is much easier to withstand the heat. Because you spent most of the day under this like cleft, and now during the night, which is way less hot. But the cold comes from the wetness of it, because all of you are a little wet from coming from the sea and such, and the wind. The wind is freezing cold.
Okay, that makes
like the ambient temperature is fine, but the wind is very cold.
Okay, that means we should be fine for tonight.
Mm-hmm.
At least shelter-wise.
Are any of you keeping watch?
I mean, I don't think Rocco will be able to do anything other than not me. Any other takers?
I'm not there yet.
True. Well, I guess there are no takers then.
Okay, you guys just go to sleep. Eventually, either Rocco goes to sleep or he loses his voice because he eventually stops whispering to himself, giant turtle, giant toad. You're not sure. Because eventually the fire dies out and it's just like, as you're in this little cleft, it's fully dark inside the cleft. Eventually...
You know what? Berard won't take a watch, but he will set up a simple trap to snap a twig with some line across the cleft, so that if something comes in and isn't paying attention, there will be a noise that could wake us up.
Okay. Make me a set trap test then. It's gonna be average because you have time.
All right, then I auto succeed based off the rules you sent me for average
cool.
tests.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, you set up a little one. Tehetakai, give me a perception check.
Okay.
It's gonna be a challenging one.
I'm being followed, man. All right, let's see.
He fails perception test. Steps on poison wind globe.
I got a +1.
As you are getting close to the camp, you do notice your companions. You do see Rocco. He is sleeping while still sitting and hugging his knees. He just like fell into his knees with his head and is snoring. and your companions are also sleeping. You do notice a line, a little very discreet line just above the ground that triggers the trap that Berard.
Oh, yeah.
Just
I'm
a
going
little
to
line through a couple
not
of metal things.
trigger that.
Okay, you step over it, easy enough.
And I'm going to go find somewhere to sleep.
You nest yourself there, and you find a place to sleep. No problem.
This is probably the optimal place to call it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this is a good place for
Before
us
we
to
do
end
that,
this
can I roll an average endurance check to heal my one missing wound?
Oh yeah, same. Actually, oh wait, crap! I did forget something. I was going to ask before we went to sleep. I was going to ask to Ashling to look at my foot because it itches something fierce.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right.
Is it an average test or is it
Average.
Yeah. Hey,
Nice.
look at that! Wow,
Bam.
holy crap! That is really good. Okay, I guess she has like a, I don't know, an ointment or something, and my
She's
my
just
foot
that
feels
good,
much
man.
better. Yeah, it's just what is a man to do?
It is the
Alright.
it is the magical essence of just washing wounds that really helps.
Yeah.
Oh, I was waiting for she shoves that moss she collected from the
I was
cave.
No.
And it turns out it's highly medicinal and very valuable. And we can burn it
Yeah.
all.
And we burned it
Does-
all.
You know,
So-
somehow I think strange ant nesting material. I mean, it could be medicinal. What do I know? It could be.
Does Ashley have herbology or something like that?
I do not.
Well, then,
Sadly.
unless you want to
Nope.
try out, I don't think you would find a use for the moss.
Be a good guinea pig.
No, go away.
No,
Every
I'm
single
keeping
thing
my
that I-
moss. That is my moss. You didn't
Every
want
single-
it. I kept it.
Man, you better hope that moss does not smell like bloat toad, or else you're gonna have a really bad day tomorrow.
Ah,
I have it in a pouch. It's fine. And that
see-
pouch is in a bag. And that bag is in a jug. And that jug is in my backpack.
We'll see when the Reaperdactyls come back the next morning if they agree with that statement.
Yeah, you're all taking a bath in the ocean before we do anything else.
The best
alright.
part is I could throw that moss at somebody else and distract them. Or set it up so
Pocket
that the
moss.
Reaperdactyls go after it.
Pocket moss.
You can make your friend Lizard very, very nauseous.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Anti.
No,
Which is an
forehead
ability
pats.
you have.
Didn't realize
no.
you found lizard bane.
Yes,
Be gone, lizard.
Lizard garlic.
Okay, is there anything else anyone has a question about?
I think we're good on that front.
Thank you everyone for watching. Hope y'all had fun. Apologize for that weird long break in the middle. We will be back next Thursday, same time, 1 p.m. CST, for next session, and we'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.